What's going on, guys? It's me, Multi-Fae here, and today we're going to talk about what if Izuku was Moon Knight, the movie. I hope you guys enjoy, and please hit the like and subscribe so I can become king of the anime community and enjoy. Thank you.
Be a hero without a quirk. Kid, be real. Without a quirk, you're dead meat. Be a cop or something. At least you'll be less useless. As long as you stay on my way in the future, we won't have this talk again. You were the direct cause of a villain escaping. I should kill you right now. Izuku then opened his eyes. He was walking down the street, heartbroken. Those are the last words he remembered his hero telling him. The number one hero threatening his life over a mistake, over wanting to ask a simple question. That's not a hero, All Might. That must not be an All Might. He had to be a mind control or something, right? Oh God, what if he wasn't? He could be watching right now. I shouldn't be saying this stuff out loud. Come on, Deku. Think. You see, Izuku, from a young age, was diagnosed with something. Multi-personality disorder. Or dissociative identity disorder, to be more specific. He had two identities, Deku and Izuku. One was developed in an early age. Alright, Deku, look, you can't get into UA. All Might even told you. You might as well just ask for the application to be denied. It's the best choice. I mean, the best I can get into is general studies anyway. Or I could still go for a tech class instead. Izuku kept on walking down the street. As he passed by a crowd, he was intrigued. It was a villain attack. He used to love seeing these. But he realized who the villain was and who the victim was. Kanchan? He looked. Yes, it was in fact Bakugo, with the slime villain trying to suffocate him. Stand still, you little brat! The slime villain yelled. All the heroes in the vicinity were telling the crowd to back up. They were trying to figure out a way to help the boy, but nobody could. Why are they just standing by? It doesn't matter if they won't succeed, they should just do it. Izuku looked around the crowd. All Might was here a few minutes ago. There's no way he could have died that fast without even noticing this. As he looked around, and he did see All Might in his skinny form. Alright, all he has to do is power up, and he saw All Might walk away. That bastard. I don't care if he threatened me, but he's now choosing to not save someone. He looked in the crowd. I had to do something. As he then remembered what All Might told him, what everybody tells him, what his mom told him. He can't possibly be a hero. But it didn't matter to Izuku at the moment. He kept on walking. He walked, but his pace picked up, and he blacked out. He then woke up. He woke up to Kanchan on the floor, looking at Izuku with his hands raised towards him. Come on, idiot! What are you doing? As Izuku turned around to see the slime monster. What? Well, you seem to know what you were doing there, kid. That didn't seem like last time. As the slime monster attacked Izuku. But Kanchan, please help! The slime monster snapped Izuku's neck right then and there. All of the heroes and everybody, the spectators, Bakugo, they went silent. Oh, come on. We're supposed to have a spectacle. Out of a fit of rage, Bakugo blasted the slime monster, practically killing the thing. And he looked and he grabbed Izuku's body before getting pulled away and an ambulance being called. Izuku, on the other hand, woke up in the desert, and he looked around. Is this heaven or hell? It's neither, technically. I believe you people call it limbo. Izuku turned around to see a giant humanoid bird, but The bird was of a skeleton shape. It didn't have any feathers, nor skin, nor meat, or eyes. Hello? The lack of surprise tells me Izuku began to nerd out. You're Khonshu, the Egyptian god of the moon, sea, the wind, the night sky. Well, you got a few of those correct. I think you need to study a bit more. Yes, I am Khonshu, and I am the Egyptian god of the moon. Some people like to put in the night sky from time to time. Izuku began nerding out, trying to figure out where his notepad went. Khonshu would explain, if you didn't die off it, you don't take it along with you. Sorry. Wait, I'm dead? Khonshu nodded his head. But no matter, I can bring you back. Easy fix. Technically speaking, you're not dead. You have a sparkle of life in you. Izuku grabbed his throat, and then he felt it. Those are fractures on my spine? Khonshu then nodded. Easy fix for me, if you do as I ask and take up my offer. Offer? Izuku, as Khonshu began pacing around him. Yes, you see, I'm tired of your world. Look, if you're gonna ask for me to destroy it, then it's already a no. As Izuku got a giant shush from Khonshu. Allow me to explain first. You see, I'm tired of your world because, well, there's no justice. True justice, I mean. What do you mean? Heroes, villains. It's not true justice. You capture a villain and what do? They run away. They run away and then kill, hurt, murder, steal, ruin lives. Both heroes and villains need to be subjected to true justice, and that's what I can give you, Izuku, the power of true justice. You see, I was watching you, and I watched over you. You have a brilliant mind, a chaotic mind, just the type of person I need to help me out. You see, Izuku, I saw the way All Might walked away. It wasn't because he couldn't help, he very well could, it's because he wasn't bothered. He doesn't understand true justice. He blamed you for the loss, but it shouldn't have been on him. He should have been the one to be more secure about the villain, not put it into a soda bottle. He should have killed him on the spot right then and there for almost trying to murder someone. That's why, Izuku, I need your help. Izuku looked at Khonshu. He began thinking. You're right. True justice, right? Then I accept. Khonshu clapped his hands. Good, good. You'll be getting powers. Don't worry, you don't really need to train them. I'll help you out. It's almost like you've had them your whole life. Khonshu then began to make the sand around Izuku pretty much form around him into like a tomb-like thing. Then Izuku woke up on a hospital bed. 2 weeks after the doctors calmed Izuku, after they freaked out because Izuku was just declared dead, they did an x-ray and realized Izuku was perfectly healed. Because of this, they wanted to run a few tests and found out Izuku still does not have a quirk, so it couldn't have been that. At the moment, they decided to declare his case to be unsolvable, and Izuku is now declared a mystery among doctors, basically. After 2 weeks, Izuku was let out and went back home to his average, normal life, with a mother that pretty much never talks to him, and the only time she ever interacts is to beat him or to barely even feed him. Sometimes she tried to poison him, which Izuku's actually figured out a way to tell if she will or not. And one day, after a few more weeks of recovery, he went out to the beach to talk to Khonshu. So, what are my powers? Khonshu would explain. Look, what I'm about to tell you, I want you to know these are extraordinary sets of abilities, but do not use them recklessly. I want this journey of justice, true justice, to actually go on longer than my other hosts. See, on average, they only last, 2 years maybe? They began reckless. They began to think they were invincible. They're not. You're not even me. But if you could just listen and understand what I'm about to tell you, maybe we'll fix some things in this world. Do you understand? Izuku shook his head as he just wrote down exactly what Khonshu said. Khonshu would sigh. Alright, let's see. You have super strength, advanced agility, advanced speed, and you have regeneration abilities. Izuku perked up. Regeneration? Yes. If, let's say, I don't know, Khonshu then cut off Izuku's finger. What the fuck? As Izuku was bleeding out. Let's say that happened. Khonshu then demonstrate. Put on the suit, Izuku. The suit? Oh shit, I forgot to tell you how to do that. Will it into existence. How am I supposed to do that? Envision a hero suit. Izuku thought. Eventually, sand around him began to form. Out of the sand, it looked like, I don't know, toilet paper. It's kind of the paper that was used for like mummies and stuff. It wrapped around Izuku's face, and then a hood appeared with a cape. This was the classic Moon Knight design. Whoa, what the? As Izuku would then see his finger, sand would form around it. Then the sand would shape into flesh. Then the same fabric wrapped around Izuku's fingers. Holy shit! Khonshu then looked. Well, it's a lot different from the others, but I like it. It looks unique, it looks better. Anyway, this is your suit. See, you only get these powers when the suit is on. I'm sorry, what? When the suit is on, these powers are yours. Khonshu made it very clear to Izuku. He only gets these powers when the suit is on. He even repeated it a few more times, just to hammer it in. Izuku then asked when Khonshu and him are going to begin their journey of justice. Khonshu then looked into the distance. Now, Izuku stuttered. I'm sorry, what? Now? No. Khonshu looked down. I believe in you. Izuku then began to panic. Believe is bullshit, man. Well, I don't even know how to fight. Khonshu then walked by Izuku. You don't really need to figure it out. It kind of comes natural with the suit. Well, somewhat. You could figure it out. It's just a few punches, a bit of jabs. Oh yeah, and you get your very own weapon. So even if you don't know how to fight, just swing it around a few times. Maybe you'll win a few. Besides, you got like regeneration, right? Izuku began to breathe. I'm sorry, weapons? As Khonshu would then look around Izuku's entire body. Right on your chest. Those crescent-shaped things. Izuku would look, and he would realize that the crescent-shaped blades were actually brass knuckles, like bladed brass knuckles. Holy, ooh, these look sharp. Khonshu then looked towards the distance. Hosu City, correct? Deku looked up. I'm sorry, what? Hosu City, is that what you guys call it? Remember, I've been watching you. I know you know who's in Hosu right now. Izuku then looked at Kanji's direction. But, I mean, shouldn't we start off small? I mean, fighting someone like him? No. Starting off small, that's not how you get things done. You always go for something of the middle class. Maybe even a bit of high. We're going to Hosu City now. Izuku would then state, well, how the hell am I supposed to get there? I'm not a rich superhero, but everybody's gonna be looking at me weirdly. You can take off this suit, you don't have any enemies at the moment. Izuku then lured the suit away, began walking. Izuku would have gotten off the train and stopped at Hosu City. Izuku looked at Kanji. What am I supposed to do from here? Kanji then sighed. I can't hold your hand, but I can point. As he pointed towards a general direction. Well, help you are. How am I supposed to find Hero stand like this? Well, you can glide with a cape, idiot. As the train ran off, Kanji was on it and went towards the distance. Izuku then willed the suit into existence, and just like that, he was Moon Knight. Izuku remembered what Kanji said, you can glide with a cape. And that's what he did. He jumped off the train station, used his cape like a glide, kinda like how you see in Batman. And then he glided towards the general direction. It took him a few minutes, possibly half hour, to then hear screams. No, please, stop. Izuku began to walk closer, silent. As he then peeped around a corner, he would then see a hero. It was a very low class one, so not a lot of people knew him. Brown hair with blood all over him, and then a sword sticking out of his chest. You fake heroes, you know nothing of justice. All you do is run around, barely get anything done and get paid for it. You're only in it for the money. You're only in it for the popularity. You bastards make me sick. You monsters make me sick. I will show this world what a real hero is. As Stain was about to get the job done, Izuku took the crescent-shaped moon and, on instinct apparently, threw it, ricocheted off the wall, and hit the serial killer's sword, ricocheting the sword off of his hands as he would look at the general direction of where the blade came from. And who are you? I don't recall you on the registry. I'm not really a hero, technically. Then what should I call you? I kinda need to know who I'm gonna kill. As Izuku would then state, well, kinda haven't figured it out yet. As the hero killer picked up his sword and was about to stab the hero right in front of Izuku when Izuku called for the blade to come back. The blade, like a boomerang, came back, hitting the sword a second time, but now it went towards Izuku with the blade. With the crescent-shaped blade. Wow, quite weapons you have. You see, I'm more of a stab type of guy. As Izuku then charged at the hero killer Stain. At first, since Stain wasn't really expecting Izuku's speed, he was taken aback as Izuku was able to grab the hero and run out of sight. Stain then smiled. So, there are real heroes after all. Stain chased Izuku as Izuku asked the hero if he was alright. The hero states he can't feel his legs, he can't even move. Izuku kept on running when he was impaled by the sword of Stain. He then told the hero to try and run, but he couldn't. Izuku then went up and stood his ground. Well, just stand in there. I gotta take care of this bastard. We then see Izuku pretty much stanced up to Stain. They're eye to eye. Stain and Izuku would emerge in combat. At first, this became second-hand to Izuku somehow, like his body was already prepared for it. Eventually, Stain would get the upper hand. Stain was more skilled, knocking Izuku into a wall. They kept on throwing punches and blocking each other. Izuku and Stain eventually used their weapons. The blades would clash, but Izuku would get cut rapidly. Stain would lick the blood and then be surprised. Izuku would feel a pulse, like he couldn't move for a second, but then was able to. "What the hell?" Stain declared, pretty much spoke to himself. As Stain would jump off a wall, gaining momentum, enough momentum to cut Izuku's arm off. Sand would cover the wound and regrow. Izuku getting up and would do an over-the-shoulder shot with the whites of the eyes was piercing and stained as the hood covered the face. "You're a real special one. You can regenerate limbs, and not only that, you're able to dull my quirk. How come you weren't paralyzed when I licked the blood?" Izuku would turn around. "What do you mean?" "My quirk. When I drink the blood of someone, they're paralyzed. Depending on the blood type, it would wear off in a certain time limit." As Izuku would then realize, "My body's a bit different from everybody else's, so I guess." He then would shake his head. "That doesn't matter right now. What matters is me stopping you." As Izuku and Stain began to clash in battle again, this time the blades would collide to each other as they began rapidly swinging it. Eventually, Izuku threw Stain up into a nearby window, and Stain smashed into a bedroom. Izuku would run up the wall, up to Stain, then Stain would regain his footing and kick Izuku in the face, sending him back down to the ground floor. When Izuku collided with the floor, his stomach was wide open, which this led Stain to he pretty much did a giant flying knee to the stomach. And those fucking hurt. I just gotta say, I hate those. Anyway, flying knee to the stomach, and this made Izuku cough up blood. But it wasn't really visible because he's wearing a mask. But because of this gave Izuku enough time to wrap his hands around Stain's waist and do a bear hug. Eventually he heard cracking, but this didn't stop Stain, as he then grabbed a knife and rapidly stabbed Izuku in the shoulder until he had to let go. There was blood dripping from Izuku's suit, as Stain would then kick Izuku in the knee, practically breaking it. Well, you don't break the knee, but that's alright. He then jumped up and kneed Izuku in the jaw, making him stand back up. He then grabbed the knife and go straight for Izuku's throat. But all of these were healed in a matter of minutes. But you remember what Kanju said, don't be reckless, be smart. Izuku would then kick Stain into a nearby wall, making the wall crack. Izuku grabbed Stain by the throat and was about to kill him. But he then heard Kanju. "Wait, we need him." Although he doesn't understand true justice, he understands justice somewhat. "We're gonna need him." Izuku then spoke to Kanju. "This bastard's gonna kill a hero." And I did say heroes don't understand justice. Remember, justice is blind no matter who you are. Just because he doesn't know justice now, doesn't mean he doesn't have the potential to learn it. Let him grow, and we can teach him. Izuku lets go of Stain's throat. This fight is over. Izuku began to walk away, carrying the hero's body. Stain would then ask, "Why didn't you kill me when you had the chance?" Izuku would then turn around. "Because I know what justice means. I understand your justice." As he began to walk around, Stain chuckled. "I still didn't get that name." Izuku stopped.
Hey, sorry for cutting you guys off in the middle of this wonderful story, but that's just it. So during this series that I did in my previous channel, I switched what if styles. Now, you might be wondering what a what if style is. There are multiple what if styles. Basically, there's the storytelling style, the explanation style, and there's like a ton. You might see in other what if YouTubers, for example, the Anagi does a explanation style. But people like that one Weeb does a story-based style, and I basically switch up in kind of from part 1 to part 2. I don't really remember why, but yeah. So if it seems off, that's the reason. It's because I switched styles mid-series. Let's get back into the video. This takes place roughly after the Stain fight, at least this part does. Well, Izuku, I feel like he would just go back home. He would pretty much like, turn off the suit, look at his arm. Now, last time I did give Izuku a power that I don't think is in the comics, where Moon Knight, I know he pretty much doesn't feel pain and stuff like that, but like Izuku in the last part, got his entire arm cut off, then regrown. The way I described it was like sand, like reforming his arm, and then like mixing into like flesh and stuff, and then it was weird. It was weird, and that's another reason why I had to change the styles, because I need new ways to describe stuff. Anyway, so you look at his arm and you would see a red mark. Now this red mark is there because I want to show that Izuku is not invincible, first off, because I've been doing a lot of OP characters in my recent videos lately. Anyway, so after this, Izuku pretty much it's around a week later, and this is when the UA press thing happens in the original series. But at this point, Izuku's trying to like go further into All for One schemes, because if you can remember in the last part, what was it, Khonshu? Yeah, I keep forgetting my own characters' names. Great. Khonshu said something about All for One and All Might, and about balancing good and evil by taking out the two big bads and the big good. So Izuku's main mission of this entire story will be taking out All for One and then All Might, or All Might and All for One. He knows he has to destroy them both, or at least make both of them kind of retire, and that's what his original plan is. So basically, he needs to understand what the next scheme is, and he's investigating, and eventually comes across Shigaraki on accident. And he does quickly understand what Shigaraki's, at least his gimmick is something with his hands. He's been spying on him for around a couple weeks now, and he understands his gimmick is his hands. If he touches something bad has to happen, right? So he's been following around for weeks, and then eventually the press for UA shows up, and basically Izuku follows Shigaraki, and you see Shigaraki's quirk firsthand, where Shigaraki will place his hand on, I don't know, a wall or something, and it just decays, and he walks in. So Izuku sees that definitely, and he's also in his Moon Knight costume just in case, you never know. And basically he follows Shigaraki. Shigaraki looks at some files and sees that not only is All Might teaching for UA, which Izuku will overhear a conversation between Shigaraki and an unknown character. Not only is All Might teaching in UA, but he has to go to this field trip-esque thing called the USJ, and he would pretty much like say out loud, because you know how Shigaraki is. He's like, this is gonna be my ultimate plan to finally kill All Might. Now, Khonshu speaks to Izuku, stating, well, there we go, one problem solved. But Izuku's like, well, if it's a field trip, that means other students will get involved. So Izuku and Khonshu kind of have like a discussion, not an argument, a discussion. Like, on one hand, this does help Izuku out a little bit, and it takes out one side, and now he only has to focus on the other one. But on the contrary, innocent people get in the way. So Izuku pretty much is like, okay, I can't do this by myself. Obviously, Shigaraki leaves through a portal or something, but he does know something bad's gonna happen to the USJ, and somehow this scrawny person is gonna take out All Might. So what Izuku does is, not only does he need some help, he needs some help from someone he trusts. So this is when we're gonna be reintroduced into Stain. And yes, this still does take place roughly around before the USJ, obviously. But he talks to Stain one night and he asks for help. Now, I do want to emphasize the relationship between Stain and Izuku at this point. They already fought, and Izuku does understand, but they're not buddy-buddy. So at first, Stain's like, why would I help my enemy? You're literally my enemy, right? You want to protect heroes. And then Izuku's like, well, the truth is, I want to balance the world. Izuku wouldn't tell him his full plan, because obviously saying you want to kill the #1 hero and the #1 bad, you'll sound crazy. All he says is he wants to balance out the world. He wants to take out villains and heroes at the same time. And he needs Stain's help, because he already knows Stain's motives, basically. And Stain's like, only chance is like, at first Stain's like, I'm getting through to this guy, right? Stain thinks that Izuku somewhat understands, but like the fact that like heroes aren't good, right? Obviously, if Stain found out that Izuku needs to take out All Might, he would flip. But basically, Stain goes on and he actually like explains like how he thinks most heroes are just in it for the money, and that All Might's really the only one true hero. And then Izuku's like, oh shit. Well, Izuku's pretty much like, well, I mean, I do have to kill him, but I don't have to tell him. Izuku in this series is gonna be a bit different. He's gonna be more deceptive. This actually ties in with one of my complaints about Izuku in the series, is that he seemed smart, he just never used it in a way that would, you know what I mean, like, what in the series, he copies moves, great. If I'm gonna do Izuku, and I wanna do these two personalities things, don't worry. But basically, Izuku's like, okay, well, Stain obviously isn't going to like the fact that I might have to kill All Might. And yes, the two personality thing is still a thing. There's Izuku, then there's Deku. And Deku is the reason why Izuku can turn into Moon Knight. And this happens at random. He doesn't find out he has two personalities. He just blacks out, and for some reason, everything's like dead around him, you know what I mean? So basically, he was awake with Stain, though. That's why it goes to him. Basically, pretty much, they know that the USJ is going to happen soon. So what Izuku and Stain do is they spy on UA a little bit. They see a bus leave a bunch of students. They follow the bus, and obviously the bus is going to the USJ. Now, there is one key difference, is that Izuku is not on the bus. So Bakugo pretty much is the top dog besides Todoroki, obviously. So a lot of characters, I mean, it wouldn't really affect a lot, I'm gonna be honest. I think most characters would still be talkative, but by the time they get to the USJ, obviously, the villain attack starts. Stain rushes first, but Izuku wants to stay out because Izuku's more of a strategist, right? And he's more of a, well, let's watch and see what happens kind of type of person. Stain definitely would just rush in the second he sees villains, right? So obviously Mr. Aizawa does his thing. He's all badass. He's beating up these villains, but eventually they're gonna have to overpower him a bit. Then that's when Stain comes in, starts killing villains, and like sees how Aizawa is protecting children, and there's no press. This is when Stain's like, maybe some heroes are good. And this would like start his respect for Aizawa, more or less, right? So Stain's killing a bunch of bad guys, like dead ass, like they're not coming back, chopping off heads, slicing through the gut, right? And Izuku's still waiting. He's waiting to see what Shigaraki's up to. He sees Shigaraki, and Aizawa tries to fight Shigaraki, but obviously, around the same thing kind of happens, and then Shigaraki pulls out the Nomu. And that's when Izuku's like, oh, damn. And then he sees Ida run towards UA. So instead of following Ida, he just goes in. He bursts through the top window, like that giant ass solar thing. And then he like throws one of his like crescent blades
obviously he's in suit, but he throws one of his crescent blades at the Nomu, and the Nomu like sticks it's like it goes towards the ground. Now the way I saw it in the show was the crescent blades like magnetic to him in a way, and that's how it's gonna be like, where you could throw it and you can like retract it back. If it's not done in the comics, just tell me, I'll change it, I'll wreck on it, I don't mind. Anyway, so the fight starts, but remember, this is Izuku, so he's not really a good fighter, he's more of a strategist. So most of the fight is really him dodging it, and then thinking about ways to like trap the Nomu and stuff like that. He doesn't really like do a brawl on brawl. And, maybe this is for the better, because we know the Nomu's shock absorbent. And basically, he keeps going, until the Nomu starts overpowering him, and then he sees All Might burst through the door. And this is when, obviously, we get like the eyes roll to the back of the head, his personality changes, and this is Deku. Now, I don't think I explained the two different personality thing. Izuku's strategist, he's kind, also a bit deceptive. Deku's a brawler. That's it. That's literally it. And I think I did explain why he has two personalities, but I will explain myself again, because, like I said, this is a different type of what if style. It's still a story, but it's also an explanation, right? It's to like make him. You know how like Mark in the show made it so he would like escape his beatings. This is him making it so he can seem stronger towards other people, right? So Deku comes out, he's like, what the hell is going on? Who is this? Who's that? He sees Nomu, he sees All Might, he's like, okay. Well, all I know now is that I'm getting my ass beat and I need to like reverse this right now. So, also I think it'd be cool if the weapons changed. Instead of being like crescent blades, it turned into like a crescent shaped brass knuckle. I don't know. I know that's not really a thing, but it's my story, so I'ma do it. Alright, so he gets brass knuckles, he starts brawling on the Nomu, All Might comes in, All Might starts beating on the Nomu too. That's when Shigaraki reveals it's shock absorbent. And then like Deku would be like, what was it, cut absorbent? I know that's a stupid thing to say, but like at the same time, like, he's not supposed to be smart. He's like, well, I mean, shock absorbent, but what if I cut it? Right, so that's why I wanted it to be like a crushing shaped blade / brass knuckles. So what he does is he starts doing like hooks after hooks after hooks, cutting up the Nomu. If I do remember correctly, the Nomu I think has some regenerative power. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't add regenerative power to a thing that's supposed to kill All Might, but let's just say it does. So he's trying to go faster and faster and faster, and All Might's just starting to beat on it more and more and more. So it gets to the point where I think it's Kodagiri. Kodagiri opens a portal, tries to trap Izuku / Deku, but Deku does something cool. He throws his blades at the Nomu, who calls them back, because the way I want to do it is like he throws it up, calls them back to hit the Nomu in the back, making it follow. He'll go through the portal, and then when Kodagiri is about to close it, the Nomu would be halfway out, so the bottom half of the Nomu is cut off. Now I don't know if the Nomu would survive this, but I'm pretty sure it shouldn't. So yeah, the Nomu's brutally killed, basically. And All Might's like, well, that's a bit overkill. There could have been a more humane way to end this. And Deku, because he obviously knows like Izuku's backstory, he's more of aware of it, like that he has like two different personalities. Deku's like, yeah, humane, you're one to talk, basically. He gives him like a cold shoulder, walks away, goes to Stain, checks on him, and All Might's like, I don't recognize you in the hero registry. As Deku would look back. I want Deku to be more sassy than Izuku, you know what I mean? So Deku would look back and he say, well, I'm technically not a hero, but I'm more of a hero than you. And he pretty much takes Stain and run away. And like, this is when like a bunch of the heroes, I think they already showed up by this point, but they show up now and they're like, well, who are those two guys? They would try to capture them, but considering the fact that Deku's probably a bit faster than most heroes that showed up there, they just like, okay. And All Might's like, let him go. They helped out, basically. And I think this is where I'm gonna end it off. I don't want these videos to be too long. I'm trying to cut down the time so it's easier for me to edit it. And I think I'll be done. Bye.